The Book of Sorrows, the sequel to The Book of the Dun Cow, by Walter Wangerin Jr. Part 1. Something Unresolved. Chapter 1. Perlote. Two hens, white in a yellow field, walking with that thrust of the head which suggests that they are going secretly, on tiptoe, as spies, or comic exaggerations of spies, placing their claws with infinite care. Two hens, made all the whiter by a deep blue sky, go east across the yellow field, walking and pausing by turns, so that they seem two separate tears trickling down the face of the field. They are in an open space. Their voices carry, though they speak low to one another. And though they are speaking low, they have neither stopped nor taken their gaze from the land before them. They've come and they go with a purpose. There, can you see it? Where? Straight ahead, a little to the left. That tree? No, below it. It's a big tree. A willow. We wouldn't have come so far for a willow. We've had willows enough at home. She points with her beak. See the darker green behind the tree? That? The other hen tucks her beak against her neck, a gesture of distaste. An ugly tangle to my eye, she says. Well, that's it all the same, Jasper. It's what we're looking for. So far, grumps Jasper, for such a weed. At once the first hen laughs aloud. Jasper glances to see if it's a mocking laugh. It isn't. Perlote is laughing for pure pleasure, enjoying a joke. Jasper's a fat hen, unhappy at long distances of travel. Jasper's fatness also gives her little liking for herself. Generally, she assumes that everyone else holds the same low opinion of her character, and therefore she suspects mockery. Laughing isn't loving, certainly not when she laughs at herself, and likely not when others do. And mocking wants a pecking, for pecking commands a certain respect, and respect reestablishes a certain order. That's Jasper's way. She glances at Perlote. But that hen's affection is so clean and so faithful that Jasper simply cannot doubt it. God gave that hen a bright, uncomplicated eye. If Perlote is laughing, then could it be that Jasper tells a good joke? They continue forward, both gazing forward, one snatching glances at the other. That last one tries her joke again. Humph! Humph! So far for such a weed! And the other laughs the louder, like bells. Jasper, you uncomplaining hen, you're so good to have along. Jasper blinks and believes it. Two hens cross a yellow field together. The fat one has a thin pink comb, no ornament at all, mere nakedness on her head. But Perlote's comb is sultry red and beautiful. It troubles the soul by its beauty. Her neck is a slender stalk, and at her throat there sprouts a choke of feathers, both crimson and burning. This patch of color is startling in her whiteness, and though she wears it unconsciously, none who meet her can help but stare at it and wonder at her depth. Who are you, hen, with such blood at your throat and such beauty? In the time it takes to cross the field, Perlote chats a memory with Jasper. I used to sing for a gray goose once, she says, never taking her eyes from the weed ahead. An old goose, swollen in all her joints, lumpish at her beak, so that it didn't close properly, but she was well skilled in every virtuous plant and healing herb. She would nod when I sang, and weep, as old birds do, and then she'd thank me by showing me simples, teaching me their strange and vigorous faculties. She taught me, Jasper, goodness in ugliness. A weed is a weed only if you do not like it, and you don't like what you don't understand. Learn it, and suddenly it's no weed, but a medicine. And if a medicine, why, then it's the grace of God. That old goose, says Perlote. Ah, the gray goose died. killed by the basilisks. The season is autumn, cool and clean. Beyond the willow, the land rises up into hills all covered in an evergreen thicket. The sun slants down behind the two hens, white, in a golden field. Blue, green, golden, and here a feathered white. It's a lovely day altogether, and they have arrived below the willow. Perlote moves straight into the tangle of weeds, dividing leaves by her breast. Jasper halts. "Wait!" Perlote looks back. "You're tired?" "No more'n 17 miles tired," says Jasper. "Well, it's 5 steps more," says Perlote, "as slow as you want them. But there's good medicine beneath these leaves." But it's not so much the weariness that stops her as the fastidiousness of the fat hen. That and hesitation before the unknown. Those weeds look like a foul green slough. Jasper says, "It stinks." Perlote grins, laughs, then turns away and pushes herself deeper in. Jasper gazes after her. It looks as though the smaller hen is sinking into water. "Do I have to come?" "Ah, Jasper, you're a bold sort." "A clean sorter, hen. Your leaves stink. Do you gotta go into that? What if there's snakes? What lives below?" The farther and deeper that Perlote goes, the higher Jasper cranes her neck and the wider go her eyes. "Well," says Jasper, "it's getting dark now. Time to go home. You want to go home?" Whew, that was a chilly... Suddenly, Perlote plunges down and disappears. "Awk!" says Jasper, shooting up on her toes. "Lady! Lady!" For an instant, Jasper the hen is utterly alone before a living sea, and the field is golden, and the dome of the sky is blue, but all is soundless. It's only herself alive. She swallows. "Lady?" Then, where Perlote disappeared, the sour green leaves suck down, making a depression. They jerk with sudden angry violence, slapping, whipping one another. Jasper feels a panic in her breast. There comes a popping sound, and the leaves rise up again, as still as the sea. "Lady!" Jasper hops the fringes, patting wings to her sides. "Lady!" Perlote's head appears, smiling. "A thorn apple," she calls, then sinks again, and the leaves repeat their shaking and snapping. And then it's clear what's happening. Perlote is plucking fruit. And Jasper is grumpy. "2 thorn apples," Perlote announces above the leaves, wading out now. "Exactly what Russell needs for healing." Jasper turns away with enormous dignity, showing Perlote tail feathers and a great butt. Perlote regards her. "Are you still tired?" she asks. "I have never," says Jasper, "in all my born life came on so rank a weed as this." "Ah," says Perlote, "Jimson weed offends you." "And besides all that, I do not know why my lady brung me with her." "Why, Jasper," Perlote's voice is honey, "to help me carry these." And all at once she sticks the thorn apples to Jasper's tail. "Awk! Awk!" The fat hen ascends the air, beating little wings, but the green burrs hold fast, and all her dignity is gone. "I stink! I stink!" she cries to the sky, and Perlote collapses in laughter, and the tears run from her eyes. Sister, don't land sitting! Oh, Jasper!" Almost Jasper allows the anger to shape her face, but Perlote's laughter is so full of joy and affection that Jasper melts to be thus important to her lady. "And why did I bring you along?" laughs Perlote. "For companionship. I love you, Jasper." Well, that undoes the fat hen altogether. She drops her head in embarrassment, the thorn apples nodding behind her, and says, "Now, don't go gawky on me." Perlote smiles. "One more medicine to go," she says, "and for that we'll climb the hills." Jasper narrows her eye. "Them hills?" She points beyond the Jimson weed. "I need juniper berries," says Perlote. "That's where the junipers grow." "Now?" The fat hen has noticed the blue sky purpling, the golden ground descending, and the evening breeze gone chilly. "Ain't these two enough?" "Thorn apples will put the fox to sleep for us," Pertolote explains, "but it's the juice of the juniper must bathe his infections. Jasper?" To be sure, muses Jasper. "Of course. To be loved is all well and good, but to be caught in the cold of an autumn night, well, that's another matter." "Jasper, coming?" And moreover, on top of that, to mince one's way through a field of the foulest weed, contracting a smell, an unsociable smell. "Sister, Jasper." "Whew, ain't it a bit peaky out? Whew, such a shiver just passed my bones." Now, the beautiful Pertolote, hen of an excellent flock and wife to the loud, renowned bird Chanticleer, possesses wonderful powers of persuasion, greater certainly than Jasper's fussy resistance, and Pertolote would use them now, and Jasper would attend her even to the hills, with gratitude and a personal sense of importance, except that suddenly Pertolote glimpses motion on the hillside, and soon falls silent at the sight. A dim passage of white, a shadow pale within the juniper thicket, then nothing. Pertolote's mood changes. The laughter passes away, while concern darkens in her face as evening darkens the sky. Her eye she fixes on the thicket. "Jasper?" A whole new tone to her voice, solemnity. Jasper is suddenly ashamed. "Well, but I didn't mean I wouldn't, or couldn't, you understand." "Jasper?" "What?" "Go home." The big hen falls quiet. It's what she wanted, of course, but her lady isn't even looking at her. She didn't want it this way. "What'd you say?" "Go home." "Lady." Jasper's voice takes on a truly penitential softness, and behold, it is lovely. "Lady, I will stay with you. I didn't mean I should desert you. What should I do without you? Or maybe you without me?" For a loving instant, Pertolote responds to that voice, turning from the gorse to look at Jasper, cleanly, absolutely. "Oh, Jasper, what better can you do me now than to carry the apples home and to tell my Chanticleer that I am fine? You are a beautiful bird. You have my love. You cannot lose my love. Go home." "Well," says Jasper, "I've breathed in a chill after all." "An excellent reason to hurry," says Pertolote. She touches her sister once, then turns her attention back to the hills, whose tops are taking fires from the sun. "Here comes the night." Jasper makes a silly grin. "Fat birds, thin blood, you know." "Don't belittle yourself, my sister," Pertolote says over her shoulder, feet still, standing still, but her spirit yearning forward. "You are more healthy than any of us. Go home. Be warm." "You don't need someone to protect you, then?" "I need a messenger to tell my husband I love him. Go home. Go." So Jasper backs away. "Whatever you say," she says. "Not my own inclinations, you understand, since I generally finish anything I start, you understand. But the darkness, and the cold, and the distance." With which the hen Jasper bolts and races westward with a wonderful stretch of her neck and a bounce of baubles behind. A healthy hen indeed. And Pertolote walks in the other direction, deeper east, through the dark datura toward the hills, toward the thicket gloaming before her. The hen is very intent, peering into the juniper as though probing with a beam of light, yet her motion remains restrained, smooth, easy. "Ah, my hiding heart," she whispers, "is this where you go every day? Is this your seclusion? Why?" It was not something, but someone she saw slipping through the juniper so far from home. The sky, the whole dome of the sky, is as deep and translucent as amethyst. The sun is gone now. Dusk flows round dear Pertolote's feet, and the hen begins to hum. This evening can hold a hum, like the melodious ringing of a bell, as though one stood within the bell, and the sound came down from all around. Sweet Perlote is the tongue, and the great round sky the thing she rings. She hums because she does not sneak. She wishes her coming to be no secret, no threat, no shock, no harmful approach. Peace, world, Perlote brings her love. But then, as she begins to climb the hill, still below the juniper gorse, she changes her humming into a song, explicit words and true emotion. When lady she left us for spite, all right, forgotten she was overnight, all right, and the morning was better without her. Another she left us in sorrow, poor sparrow, we craved her return with the morrow, black laurel, the morning was bitter without her. Up and up the hill the hen repeats her song, gently touching words that might turn angry, might turn sad, and when she comes to the juniper thicket itself, softer and softer goes her voice until it is stilled altogether, and she breathes a while. Then, which one are you, Chalcedony? She speaks only just above a whisper. With perfect assurance, one is hearing her, but no one answers. The evergreen growth is windless. Are you the lady of spite? Says Perlote. Are you the lady of sorrow? Evening turns. Perlote, so seeming alone on the hillside, is patient. I want you to know, dear sister, that I didn't come looking for you. I know that your privacy is a treasure. I came on another errand altogether, but seeing you, how could I leave you? Finding you, how could I seem to reject you? Meeting you must mean greeting you. All at once, one blueberry the size of a pea rolls out between juniper roots, dribbles downhill, and lodges in Perlote's toes. She whispers, "Ah, so you know why I came." One at a time, other berries follow, bouncing into a little heap, an offering at the foot of the hen, and all in utter silence. Perlote is inclined to weep, gazing at that pile. 10, she says. "Oh, Chalcedony, you private sister of mine, so kind and watchful. 10 exactly, and the reason I came. Do you know how much I love you?" Slowly, like a poor flag brought sadly to half-staff, the skinny head of a hen appears above the gorse, and so Chalcedony is looking at Perlote. "Do you think," she says, "that you could go away now?" "Because I have what I came for?" She returns the look. "Well, I could go, but how would I carry 10 berries on my own?" Chalcedony considers this, blinking in bewilderment. There are no feathers around her eyes, pink flesh only, making her seem vulnerable and undernourished, and sad. She has eyes too huge for a hen. "'Tis a puzzle, surely," she says. "Perhaps you could take only 2. "Perhaps, but then I'd have to return for the others, and 2 at a time would have me back here, 4 more times?" 4? The mathematics pain this timid hen. 4? Well, but there's never no need you'd come in here, is there? Never no need to stand close. "Ah, sister, why shouldn't I? Why couldn't I?" Gently she whispers. "Come close to kiss you." "Kiss me? Are you indecent?" "Oh, ma'am, I hope I may never say I am ever that." "Of course not, but you are hiding." Well. Chalcedony gazes downward. "Are you the lady of spite?" "No!" Her head snaps up, her wide eyes pleading. "No, never of spite, truly. Don't never think such a thing of Chalcedony." "So then," says Perlote, as though there's nothing left but this, "you are a lady of sorrow, and I should comfort you with a kiss." Chalcedony, drops a second glance to something below her, immediately raising her face again. "Of sorrow," she whispers, then bursts into hopeless tears. "Oh, sister, sister, sister." Perlote enters the thicket, winds her way to the skinny hen, and takes her under the wing, holding her, and Chalcedony sobs terribly, shaking tears. And she kisses her. So the evening deepens, while the skinny, bare-feathered hen spends her tears, but not her sorrow. Perlote does not ask for causes. Perlote understands the need of privacy, and knows how to wait. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't never cry before. Not till now, and I seen you." "Well, now you may cry, and I cry with you, Chalcedony." "I—" Finally, the sad one sighs and is still. Then it is her own sole choice. Chalcedony parts from Perlote, stepping backward and gazing with true reverence down toward the ground. "See?" Perlote, too, bends her eye to their feet, and there sees a faint whiteness lying in the gloom. "Do you see?" Something, it is, most precious in the sight of Chalcedony. "I see," says Perlote. "An egg." "Perfectest little egg," says Chalcedony. "Lovely. Unblemished." Perlote waits a careful 3 minutes, and then asks the question that hangs between them. "But why is it here?" "Here?" "So far from home, Chalcedony." "Here," repeats the thin hen, brushing the egg with the tip of her wing. "Well," she whispers, "I couldn't never make another one since the rat killed the first, and that the first of all I ever made." She looks up quickly to Perlote. "But I understood, what with the war and all, events and all, churning up my innards, no peace in me for making eggs." She sighs. But then the other hens went to laying again and brooding again, but not Chalcedony, and that was a mockery around the coop, and there was things that Jasper said, and there was children, and there was motherhood for all the hens, but not Chalcedony. I couldn't see no reason why, excepting maybe the mockery of it all." Chalcedony looks with deep appeal into Perlote's eyes, searching understanding for so tender a revelation. "But I said in my soul, why mayn't Chalcedony also be laying an egg? And I said," she is whispering lowly now, "I said, why mayn't Chalcedony get a child?" "Ah," sighs Perlote. "You had young ones, right, ma'am?" I did once." "Then you know, you got the understanding." "I do that," whispers Perlote. "So you see I came away, and alone by the mercy of God, I laid this here egg." "Just one?" "At the ending of the summer, and no woman never thanked God more often than did Chalcedony, sitting on her egg with smilings and jubilations on her dear and blessed precious." The little hen begins to sob again, choking on the last part of her story. Again the beautiful Perlote covers her with a wing. Perlote says, "It's the autumn now." Chalcedony nods. "The autumn, aye, the killing autumn." "How many months then? 2? "Oh, lady, 3. Perlote bends her neck to hear such knowledge and such sorrow. 3, she whispers. "Then cry on me, Chalcedony, do. Weep your whole heart upon my breast. I know the grief, and don't I? For I had 3 sons. More than that, I had the gift of naming them, and watching them to grow, and seeing their father to laugh with them. But they died betimes. I know, sister. Oh, it is a hollow, horrible world." Never, sobs Chalcedony. 'Twill never hatch the little thing, now will it? Pertolote shakes her head. No, never. Oh, lady, why made Chalcedony get a pretty child? Hush, hush, sweet sister mine, hush. And so descends the evening on two white hens hugging in the juniper, the sky so sadly purple, a bruise in the universe. Thus it was in those days with Pertolote the hen. She sought the souls of her sisters. And when dark was dark indeed, and when silence had embraced the hens embracing one another, Pertolote said, It is not good to do nothing, Chalcedony. Let's do two things. Let's bury the unborn together. This is right, even if the baby never showed its face. It had your love, after all. The skinny hen agreed to that. It had her love and all her yearning. And then, said Pertolote, let's see how two of us can carry 10. Russell the fox is in need of nursing. I know a poultice made of juniper juice. Chapter 2. Russell. Sacred datura was a dangerous narcotic, and therefore the final physic which Pertolote attempted on Russell the fox, the treatment of last chance. Delicately she administered its seeds to him by gentle and watchful measures, and so she laid him to sleep. To sleep. This was necessary because the fox was a compulsive. He talked. The gift of God unto the animals that they could speak was in Russell an addiction and a sin. He could not talk, and therefore the wound he'd received from the basilisks in the war, the poisoning of his tongue and snout, had never healed. Both summer and autumn, Russell went about with a nose the size of a popping sausage, making no sense whatever, but making it all the time, at every hour of the waking day. Language troubled his flesh, forever inflaming it, but Russell traded pain for expression, grieving every one of his friends, and talking. Through the summer and the autumn together, Lord Chanticleer the rooster was driven to distraction, because all he had for healing the fox was the strength of his command, and a rooster can cry, "Shut up!" only so many times in a day. Russell would try. Dear God, how Russell would try. He'd roll his eyes toward Chanticleer, boiled eggs above that horrible swelling, and nod agreement, and gaze upon the angry rooster, and say nothing, in order to give that organ rest. Nothing to cease the aggravation, to allow the suppuration. Nothing, not a word, till Chanticleer left. And then, with a shiver of pain and pleasure, with a sigh for his weakness and pangs for his guilt, he'd speak a word, helplessly another, tragically a third, and a fourth, until it was a speech he'd begun to fashion, and Russell the fox had begun to live again, resignedly to die, talking. But a mute Russell is a Russell who is not. A speaking Russell is. Even so did he explain aloud his compulsion. It was the desire to be. On the other hand, even so do creatures scratch an itch all bloody, and still continue to scratch it with red and dripping nails. There was a wolf once who sliced his tongue upon a flint, embedded in a salt lick. Tasting blood and finding it sweet, that wolf licked and licked his tongue to lacerations. He gulped his life's blood hungrily and died. "Shut up!" shrieked Chanticleer. "Please, Russell," whispered the hens, attending him, petting him, clucking around him and caring. "We can wait to hear you. Can't you wait to talk?" And 7 mice sat near, in tears, when their uncle persisted, describing the world unto them, grieved by the great flaps of his jowls and the yellow pus they ran. "I'll tell you a trick," said Russell, and they wept. Beads for black eyes bathed in tears. "One little trick, just one last trick, a trick most practicable, and besides that, useful. One." And when he named the trick, "catching minnows with one's tail," they wailed, all 7 of them, as though he had named the end of the world. For the love of God, groaned Chanticleer the rooster. Russell, shut up! Minnows! So Pertolote the hen had no choice but to administer the sacred datura. She split her thorn apple and persuaded the fox to swallow its seeds as aids for meditation. That was her trick. His eyes grew bright a moment. Then they panicked while his neck went wobbly. Then they glazed, and he laid his ruptured snout upon the ground, and he slept. And the wood was silent then, and Russell did not speak. All the animals watched with weakened hearts, and Pertolote soaked a dry moss in the juice of the juniper and swabbed the loose, infected parts of her brother fox, her claw a graceful instrument, purple smearings on his gums. Chanticleer's eye nearly cracked with its concern. "Is he sleeping?" "He is sleeping," said Pertolote. "Oh, thank God!" "Aye, there's hope for a silent fox." The 7 mice crept forward and patted a reddish rump. They wrapped his tail around him, and Russell made a soft snoring in his flesh. Thus it was with the creatures in those days following the war. They struggled to survive its consequences, not only the wounds it left behind, but also the diminished circumstance of their existence, for they had no house any more. They struggled bravely. But at first blush they seemed to fail. For Russell the fox, he died. Yet take each moment in its turn and give each day its due attention. Just now the rooster pleaded of his wife, "He's sleeping," and she repeated, "Aye, there's hope for a silent fox."